With bone chilling air making fall feel like winter, will this air stick around for a while or will we see a warm up? And could this potential warm up cause some severe weather? I'll be breaking it all down coming up in this video. Howdy y'all and welcome. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Here at Williams Weather, we make weather forecasting fun and informative, and make sure you hit that like and share button so more folks are informed about the weather. So we're going to go ahead and get right on into it here. So I'm going to look at the 500 millibar height anomaly map. This determines our troughing and ridging patterns. As we know, we've been pretty chilly out here out east. And of course it's October, so it's been really bone chilling. As we push this forward, we can see we're going to remain in this little trough for the rest of the week. Up until Friday, where it looks like the eastern part of the country is going to potentially come into a warm up due to a major ridge that's going to be setting up. And we have a little low pressure system setting up over here by Nebraska and South Dakota with a little trough setting up out west. Now this could result in some severe weather, which we will get into here in a little bit. And it looks like the trough is going to win out, and it's going to set in out east, while a major ridge is going to set in out west. And it looks like as we head off into next week, it looks like our pattern's going to shift again with a major trough for the central part of the country, and a major ridge out west and a major ridge out east. Now y'all may wonder, what kind of temperatures are we going to expect with all these troughs and ridges and all that kind of stuff? We're going to take a look at the temperature anomalies. This determines our below and above average temperature trends. As you can see, the blues are the below average and the reds, they're above average. As it pushes forward, it looks like much of the eastern part of the country and over there by California, Nevada, and Oregon, y'all are in a below average trend, while the central part of the country, you're coming into an above average trend. As we head off into Thursday, it looks like we're coming into sort of a warm-up for much of the eastern part of the country, and this could cause some problems. As you can see, we're going to be having a little bit of a cold front coming through. It's going to be bringing another round of chilly air again. It looks like it's going to stick around for a while, but it looks like the western part of the country could come into some above average temperatures, and it looks like this pattern is going to persist for quite some time, with a little bit of a warm-up expected by the 19th. Over out west and over here in part of the eastern part of the country. Now, y'all may wonder, what are the exact temperatures going to look like? As you can see, warm air is going to be stretching as far north as Indiana by Tuesday evening, and it's going to start getting real chilly again as we head into Wednesday morning. Warm air is going to stretch far north again, so it's pretty much the I don't know what to wear kind of weather. And we can see really chilly air setting in out west by Thursday. And then 100-degree temperatures expected over there in northern Texas by Thursday evening. And watch as we move towards Friday morning, we can see a potential cold front setting in over here by Kansas and Nebraska. And this could cause some problems. And that's when some really chilly air is going to be setting in over here by Wyoming and Kansas. And we're expecting some snow over there as well this week. So just be prepared for that. It looks like as we head towards the 19th, it looks like this cold air is going to win out. As we can see on the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook map here, we're going to be coming into some way below average temperatures down here by Florida and parts of the deep south, all the way over here in Texas in the northeast. Now out west, y'all going to be coming into some above average temperatures. As far as the next 8 to 14 day outlook goes, it's just about the same. So just prepare for the cold air if you live in the eastern part of the country, and if you live out west, prepare for unseasonably warm temperatures. Now let's go ahead and get into the severe weather outlooks for the next few days. And y'all may wonder, severe weather in fall? Yep, severe weather in fall can happen. We are in this what's called the second season. We typically have our second season over here amongst the eastern part of the country, mainly over here from Mississippi up into Kentucky is when we typically get the most severe weather this time of year. Before we get into the severe weather outlooks for the next few days, go ahead and take a look at the pollen map, drought map, and the air quality alert map, and even the fall outlook map. You see we have more color on the maps up here. Up by the fall map, this goes all the way out to October 16th. And make sure you send me some pictures of some fall foliage. I like to see it on my X page, formerly Twitter. So again, make sure you go follow that. And let's go ahead and get right on into it here, as we do have some just general thunderstorms today on Tuesday in the light green. Now, it's a different story as we head into hump days. We do have a marginal risk for severe weather over here in Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa here in the dark green, and also over here by Florida as well. Now, of course, all hazards are possible tomorrow with a 2% chance for tornadoes over here by Florida. As far as damaging wind threat goes, both zones are affected by the damaging wind threat. It's 5% chance, a low chance, but a threat nonetheless. As far as large hail threat goes, There's just a large hail threat over here by Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa. So if you live in both marginal risk zones, as far as the damaging wind threat goes, make sure you tie down anything you don't want blowing around. As far as the hail threat goes, if you live over there by Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa, make sure you put anything up you don't want damage from a hail tomorrow. So we head off into Thursday. We have a slight risk for severe weather here in the yellow. As far as the marginal risk goes, that surrounds that here in the dark green. Down here by Florida, y'all are also under the marginal risk. Now, we do not know what the main hazards are, but make sure you go follow my X page, formerly Twitter. I will have updates on there to determine what risks you'll be under and when you would expect the worst of severe weather. Now, as far as the flooding threat goes, we don't have much in the way of flooding today, just some flooding down by Texas. Tomorrow goes, we have marginal risk for flooding from Nebraska on over into Illinois. As we head off into Thursday, we have a slight risk for excessive rainfall over here in the slight risk zone for severe weather. So please be aware of flooding for the next few days if you live within any of these zones. So if you see a flooded roadway, turn around, do not drown. If you live in a flooded area, just please be aware of this. Let's go ahead and get into the time frames when you could expect the worst from the severe weather. Take a look at the HRRR model. Keep in mind that the date and time is up here if you want to keep track of the Sunday Eastern time as well. We're going to focus on both these marginal risk zones for hump day. Most often hump day, we can see it. We're going to be having some light rain showers down by Florida. Really no showers up there by Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri, but that's going to change as we head off into 4 o'clock. It looks like we're going to be dealing with some severe weather by 4 o'clock. It's going to last all the way through 10 o'clock. Now the main risk up there is mainly going to be damaging winds and large hail, so make sure you tie down anything you don't want blowing around, and make sure you bring anything in you don't want damage from large hail tomorrow. As far as severe weather threats down by Florida, I would expect the worst will last from right around 8 o'clock through right around midnight, and some occasional showers and thunderstorms will last all the way through right around 3 o'clock in the morning, as y'all are under flooding threat as well. Now, why I say 8 o'clock through right around midnight for the rest of severe weather is because the tornado threat, I would expect the tornado threat to occur at right around midnight, 1 o'clock, and possibly at 3 o'clock in the morning as well, as we can take a look at the tornadic parameters. And if you are new here and don't know what the tornadic parameters are, basically, I don't want to bore y'all, but basically, it's tornado fuel. It puts all the ingredients into one run, spits out a total of where you could possibly see a tornado. Now, it looks like over by Tampa, you could expect a 2 out of 10 on the tornadic scale by right around 5 o'clock in the morning. And as we take a look back here at the composite reflectivity, we can see we're going to have some supercells in that area. So it looks like we could possibly see some thunderstorms that could generate some tornadoes on Thursday morning down by Florida. So just make sure you are weather aware, know where to go when that tornado does go through. Make sure all alerts are turned on the phones. Make sure you keep fresh batteries in the weather radios, because this is looking like it's going to be a nocturnal tornado event. If you don't know where to go during a tornado warning, make sure you just keep as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. Seek shelter in the basement, storm shelter, closet, interior room. So again, it looks like from right around 8 o'clock through midnight, possibly into 5 o'clock in the morning, is when I would expect the tornado threat to occur. I'm sure you're all curious as to what kind of wind gusts we could expect, damaging winds being the primary threat in both zones tomorrow. And we're going to go back to 8 o'clock, as it looks like over here in the central part of the country, we're going to be dealing with 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts. Down by Florida, you're all going to be dealing with about the same. So it looks like power outages are going to be likely tomorrow evening, so please prepare for that, as this looks like it's going to be bringing some cold air with it as well. Now let's push off into Thursday and take a look at the timing for the severe weather on Thursday. We'll look at the low resolution NAM. This will give us a basic understanding of when you could possibly expect the worst of severe weather. Now keep in mind, we do not know what the main hazards will be just yet, so make sure you are following my X page, formerly Twitter, so you can receive further updates on what kind of hazards you could expect. As we pushed off into Thursday, see not much is happening within the slight risk zone up until the late evening hours. See, we're going to be dealing with some thunderstorms by this time. We'll be dealing with some large hail, some damaging winds. As we take a look at the significant tornadic parameters, we can see by 11 o'clock up in the slight risk zone, we're going to be dealing with almost a 1 out of 10 on the tornadic scale. Pretty low end threat for tornadoes on Thursday, but still a threat nonetheless. And down here by Florida, looks like y'all could come into some tornadic activity as well. They got some tornado fuel out there. Looks like it's going to be a late evening into overnight event, just like on Hump Day. So now that we know the severe weather risks and the timing, next video is going to take a look at the snowfall. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be having some snowfall over here in the northwest part of the country. And as you can see here in the orange, we're going to be experiencing some moderate impacts, hazardous driving conditions, closures and disruptions over here. Now look at this even further of how much snow you could possibly receive without looking at the composite reflectivity or anything like that. Look at the conservative snow totals of what you could possibly receive. Now, looks like much of the totals is going to be, obviously, to be up into the higher elevations. Expect a foot in the higher elevations up in Colorado and Wyoming. And down in lower elevations, I would expect right around 2 to 4 and possibly 6 to 10 inches in some areas, and especially over there by Utah. Y'all be getting around 4 to 8 inches. So, please be prepared for the snow if you live out west and enjoy the snow, as this is going to be pretty fun for y'all, as they're all going to be heading out to the ski slopes. And y'all watched my winter forecast video, y'all may have saw that. It's going to be an El Nino year, so it looks like it's going to be a busy year as far as snowfall goes for much of the country. If you haven't checked that out, I'll have a link down below, go check it out if you haven't already. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tropics. As we look at the tropical storm activity out in the Atlantic and the Pacific, and even out there in the Gulf, we can see we still have some tropical storm activity, as we have an 80% chance in the main development region, 30% chance down there by the Gulf. And we have Hurricane Lydia. It's currently a Category 2. It's going to be heading towards Mexico. It's going to be bringing some dangerous storm surge to parts of Mexico. It's going to be bringing some mudslides possibly, and hurricane force winds. And as we take a look at back to radar Omega, we can see right now, as of 11 o'clock this morning, you can see it currently have wind speeds of 100 mile an hour and max sustained wind gusts of 120 mile an hour. It's supposed to be making landfall this evening as a Cat 2 with 105 mile an hour winds, 125 mile an hour max gusts. Definitely causing a lot of problems, and that's the main reason why we have a slight risk for excessive rainfall in southern Texas today and even tomorrow. As far as the 30% chance for tropical storm development down from the Gulf, it's a pretty low chance. That's really mainly just going to be bringing a lot of flooding to much of Texas. The other story is going to be this 80% chance. To take a look at that, we'll take a look at the Euro. You can see the main development region out here. Looking at the simulated infrared radar, and we can see that it's going to form, but it's really just going to be getting torn apart because we're going to be in a major trough out east. So not really much to worry about there. It's just going to be causing a lot of fish storm activity. So now that we know what kind of tropical storms and severe weather, snow, and how cold it's going to get, and take a look at what kind of precip we could expect for the next few days. As y'all may saw in the drop map earlier, looks like we're going to remain dry for much of Texas and Oklahoma, as it looks like we're going to be coming into some below average precip from Arizona on down into Florida, but above average precip's expected from California up into Washington and from Maryland up into Maine. As far as the next 8 to 14 days go, we're going to be expecting some above average precip. It's going to help out some drought conditions down by Texas, and we're expecting some dry conditions from the Dakotas down into the deep south and up here in the northeast. We're also going to expect dry conditions over here from Arizona over into California, and some wet conditions up in the northwest and down by Florida. So lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at the simulated radar here on the Euro. We already know about Hurricane Lydia. It's going to be making landfall as a Cat 2 tonight over here by Mexico, and we know we got the 30% chance for tropical storm development. It's mainly it's going to be a big old rainstorm. It's going to be bringing a lot of heavy rainfall, mudslide to much of Mexico, and even by Texas as well, as there's a slight risk for excessive rainfall down there. To push us even further into the future, we know we got snowfall happening out there in the Mountain West, and there's also going to be some severe weather out here in the central part of the country, and even down here by Florida as well, as there is a 2% chance for tornadoes down there. It's going to be a nocturnal tornado event, so please be prepared for that. There's also going to be some warm air out east as well, cold air out west. That's why we have a little low pressure system right here, and this low pressure system is going to bring a cold front, which is going to wipe out those warm temperatures. We're bringing some really cool air out east, although it's going to be bringing a lot of precip, well-needed precip. It's going to be bringing some cold air. And after that, we have a high pressure system setting in for the central part of the country, while we have some soggy conditions out here out east, and some soggy conditions out in the northwest part of the country. And it looks like as we head off into the end of the month, yet another cold front is going to be setting in. So it looks like we're going to be on a wild weather ride for the next few weeks, As spooky season is upon us, and that can only mean one thing. I don't know what to wear, kind of temperatures are back. But don't worry, because it looks like the cold air is going to win out as we head towards the end of October. And with cold air brings snow. If you live over there in the Mountain West, prepare for accumulating snow, mainly up there in the upper elevations, where y'all could see upwards of a foot. But if you live down in the lower elevations, I would expect upwards of 4 to 8 and possibly 10 inches if you live over there by Utah and up in Wyoming and down by Colorado. So just prepare for that and go enjoy the ski slopes if you have any ski slopes near you. There's also some severe weather to talk about as well, as we're ending our second season of severe weather. There's a marginal risk on Wednesday and a slight risk on Thursday. So just prepare for severe weather, as it looks like on Wednesday, looks like we have a tornado threat down by Florida. This is going to be a nocturnal threat, so make sure you have all alerts turned on your phones. Keep fresh batteries in the weather areas and know where to go when that tornado does go through. And on Thursday, we do not know what the main hazards are just yet, so make sure you go follow my X page, formerly Twitter. I will have updates on there. As far as tropical storm activity goes, we have a hurricane down by Mexico. It's going to make landfall as a Category 2 hurricane. It's going to bring a lot of mudslides, a lot of storm surge, and a lot of flooding, and even a lot of flooding down by Texas as well. Now over there in the main development region, we don't have to worry about that 80% chance over there. It's just going to become a fish storm, so not much to worry about. So if you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe down below. Don't forget to check out my Rumble channel. I got some videos on there, so go follow that. And also leave me some feedback down below. Constructive criticism is always needed, as it helps provide you, the viewer, better and more informative forecasts. So I appreciate that, because here at Willie's Weather, we make weather fun and informative. Also, don't forget to share the video as well, so more folks are informed about the weather. So again, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, never stop forecasting.